Hello everyone, and thank you very much for your interest in this modular kit that we've provided on the Unreal Marketplace. So the purpose of this video is to go through the modular set and just provide essentially a quick tutorial on how you can go about using this to quickly prototype some levels. So obviously we've got a load of assets in here, so within meshes you'll find two folders, modular pieces. So these are all the modular corridor pieces and bits that you can build rooms out of, all the things that you see here. And you'll also find a folder called props, and in there's just some sort of little decorations and books and plants and things like that that you can use to furniture to make your level a little more interesting. No doubt if you are building a full level out of this, you'll have your own sort of props and things like that that you'll want to augment this set with as well. So the main thing that we've tried to do with this modular set is to make it as useful as we possibly can. So as fast as possible to actually build some levels out of. So what I'm going to do is just create a new empty level here. I'll just remove this sky and I'll start to build a level and just show you how you can quite quickly prototype things. So what you'll find in the modular pieces, as well as the actual modular pieces here, you'll also find a folder of blueprints. So I'll just start with a bit of floor. So I'll just find this corridor floor and we'll just build a corridor to start with. So I've got my basic floor. Now you'll want to set your snapping to 10. Everything should snap onto that grid of 10. You should be able to build quite interesting things out of that are fairly unique. Now what I'll do is go into my blueprint folder and bring out one of these corridor walls. So I'll just move that into position as well. So that, you can see that clips on next to this floor here, and we'll want a bit of ceiling as well. So let's find a corridor ceiling. So that clips in there. And what you can see with these blueprints is that the lighting is pre-made for you. So as you build this out, the blueprints come in with the lights, which is essentially the reason that we've added these blueprints. It means that if you're prototyping a level and you want to do your level design, it just makes it an awful lot faster when when the lighting is building itself for you as you are building these pieces. So we can also customize these pieces as well. So if we select one of these walls, down the right here you can see that there's this wall type enum that we can change. So if I change that to pipes, or to this one with a screen, or I could change it to be a doorway. And again, you can see that as we're changing these, let me just change that back to something else. You can see that the lights are changing and being remade for the various pieces. So again, it just makes things a little quicker to build out of. So let's maybe put another door here. This time we'll have a smaller doorway like that. Now it may be that you want to change the lighting up, so you don't necessarily like the way that this lighting looks, or you're going for a different atmosphere in your level, so you might want to do the lighting yourself, and obviously that's fine. You can either just use the modular pieces in this folder rather than using the blueprints, or you can tick on remove lights and that will just clear any lighting on that asset. So yeah, we can change the ceilings here as well if we want. Now sometimes you're going to get things like this where if we go from this ceiling type, and let's use some of the let's just do that the other way round. And then let's change these pieces to one with some pipes on them. So we've got this sort of gap here. So there's, anytime you get something like that, there are pieces that will sort of fill that and make everything work. So for that one, the easiest piece to use is this connector in here. Can find it. So you can see that sort of makes the continuity of everything there work. Now we can just shuffle those down a little. Like that. I think I've left my ceilings. So yeah, we can start to build out a corridor fairly quickly. You can see the corridor has all got lighting in it, which is again the one of the key things with this. So let's maybe let's put another one of these connectors in at the end there, and we'll add a curve. So the curves are always going to go around 90 degrees because obviously with this being a modular set we want to stay on grid as much as we possibly can. So when we go around these 90-degree bends, we're going to want to end up back on grid. Again, you can see that this has got the lighting pre-built on it, so we can quickly start to snap this stuff together as well. And let's maybe just get another piece of this corridor. So yeah, I think you get the idea here of how to quickly build up some corridors. So we have been using this to prototype ideas, this modular set as well. So we've, as I've been saying, we've built this in mind to actually be able to make levels quickly and to prototype ideas and level layouts and things like that. So we've got some doors here as well. Again, these are blueprints. So we've got a round door, or we've got a square door as well. So a round door for the round bits. You can open or close those to start with. Within the blueprint, there is a event, a door open and door close event that will sort of open those and close those. So you can just call from whatever switch it is or whatever you want to use, a trigger maybe when you get close to it. Just call this door open and door close event and they will open and close. But yeah, you can start them open or closed as well. Same with a square door here. So one of the other things with this set is that we have, in order to try and keep it as flexible and useful as possible, everything is made with the normals weighted, so there's no normal maps baked onto any of these assets. So if you want to change things up at any point, you want to sort of completely change the materials on here, like maybe you don't like the leather that's on here, then you can just swap things out. So you may want to use this in conjunction with something like mega scans. We've provided materials, so custom substance made materials for everything that you see in the level how it is at the moment, but you can obviously bring things in as well. So let's just swap the leather out there for some sort of carpet on these walls instead. So yeah, you can quickly change things out and do all of that if you want to get a more custom look. Maybe you want something that's more grungy or whatever it is. And you'll see, yeah, there's multiple materials on each one of these, so we can swap out the light there, the metal here, and so on and so forth. So these are basic corridors. There's essentially two sort of modular sets in this pack. So there are the corridor pieces that we've just seen, and then there are also ones for building out more just sort of rooms. So let's just go back into blueprints. So this BP room wall. So let's find a doorway. Let's go around the other way. So that should snap nicely against the other doorway that we've got. Like that. And then yeah, we can just start to build these sort of wall pieces out as well. So occasionally when you build these sort of more free-form rooms, you are obviously going to have different shaped floors and ceilings. So there is just a scalable floor in here as well that I can drop in, and you can just scale that out and it'll hold it'll hold the scale of the texture on it. So we can just scale that to be whatever size it is that we need it to be. Like that. We could also just use that for the ceilings as well if we need, again, various shaped ceilings. Let's just change the scale of that to -1. It's on the ceiling. We'll need to build some lighting on this to get some bounce light coming up onto this ceiling. So yeah, the lighting in here is static. So you'll need to obviously hit build to see the proper result of that lighting. Let's just have a look at some other pieces in here. So we've also got sort of junctions and corners and things like that as well. So within blueprints, again, you'll find this corridor corner. So let's use one of those. That's round the wrong way. So yeah, that one's just a corner. Again, you can see the lighting in here is done for you. So you can just drag these out. So these ones are useful as well for creating things like T-junctions. Or just whatever you want, really. I mean, you can just build corridors out of these pieces entirely if you wish. I think this possibly might overlap into that one. Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, it does overlap a bit, so we wouldn't quite be able to get away with that. We just need to put in a connector. If we did have something like this, I guess we would just move this a little bit over there and just stick one of these connector pieces in, and then we can easily make things a little wider. Like that. There we go, looks okay. So yeah, in there you've got, let's just drag one of these out so we can see it. These pieces will have, you can go sort of left, you can go to an end, so you can just have a termination of the corridor. You can go right, T-junctions, I-junctions that go straight through, and as an X as well, so basically all sides, a sort of cross. You can come out of all sides. So I think that's most of the pieces. Final thing, I guess, is just that there's some lights here as well. So if you want a light in the middle of your wall, then there's some lights in there as well. So I think I've gone through now all of those pieces. And again, I'll just point you towards the props. So there's a few props in here. I would imagine that you will want to augment this with some of your own props, or maybe props from other marketplace assets and things like that. So there's not hundreds of props in here. I think there's about 20 or so. So there's some sofas, and there if we just drag one of those out as a shelf, again, you would need to build lighting to get the proper results for how this looks. There's just some bits and pieces that we can sort of set dress with, like that. Some fossils. There's one plant in here as well. Again, you might want to add some of this stuff. I'll scale it down. You might want to add some stuff from other packs for extra plants and that sort of thing. Okay, so just finally, I wanted to just have a quick look at the example level that's included in here as well. So in maps, you should find this lighting test level. If you open that up, then that will be the example level that's in here. So yeah, you can see we've built some corridors in here, and there's some of these junctions. You can also use this to build larger rooms. So we showed some examples of that, and use some of the corridor pieces as well to build rooms out of. You can build sort of different looking corridors as well. So one is like that, and like this, and rooms coming off those, and so on and so forth. There's a few extra little pieces that we haven't covered in the earlier part of the video, like these pieces here, which can be useful just for making things fit. Again, I think when you create these modular sets, if you've ever made them from scratch yourself, you'll know that it's difficult to get everything to always snap together to every other part. So it's just useful to have pieces like this connector here and these pieces that essentially make you allow you to make things work. So like this piece is another good example. It just helps us to connect from one bit of geometry to another without having sort of seams in there. You can see some of the props that are on here. So it's worth mentioning that when you download this marketplace asset, because of the way the marketplace assets are uploaded, you will probably need to rebuild the lighting. So just do just hit build up here. I think the lighting will come in sort of built, but there'll be some issues with some of the movable pieces and that kind of thing. So just a few last things that I just wanted to mention with this marketplace asset is that obviously there is collision included in this as well. So that's the wrong one. So there's most of the collision in here is custom, but some of it's generated through Unreal. We've got quite a lot of these sort of round pieces like this that we've had to make custom collision for. There's also custom light maps as well for most of the pieces. So again, some of them are generated, ones that work, but for the most part you'll find custom light map channels in there for these pieces as well. So hopefully you should be able to use this and get quite good results quite easily with a minimum of effort. But yeah, hopefully this marketplace asset is useful to you, and if you have any questions about it, or if you have purchased it and you have any problems, then please email us at the email address provided on the Epic store with the marketplace asset. So that will be brokentotem@gmail.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you very much.